everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Jurassic News! So today we got some pretty big reveals, and I'm going to say this for your own sake. If you don't want the movie spoiled for you, I would suggest maybe stop watching now, because what we're about to delve into is pretty spoilery, especially for the ending, which we really don't know much about until just a second ago. So, let's dig into it. The first thing to appear, this was all posted by Collect Jurassic, who has found all of the toys that are coming out. And of course, we've seen stuff like this before. The T-Rex head that you put on, people put on their dogs and make funny videos. And it looks like this one actually has lights. And this is the T-Rex. Interesting thing to note about this one in particular is that it has a mechanism in its eye. So it's actually screens in its eye. And the eye looks around, even blinks, it looks like. And strangely enough, the eye goes red, which is very interesting, something that we've never seen in a T-Rex before. It could just be a cool thing for the toy, but just something, put a pin in that. Maybe we'll see something like that in the future. Of course, we have other ones. We've got the Spinosaur, and then we have this other dinosaur, which we really don't know anything about. My prediction, maybe it's a velociraptor, the female velociraptor in the tank, but that had stripes on it, so I'm really not too sure what that one is, but again, something to mull over. But this is the moneymaker, the Aquilops. Now, it is rumored that the Aquilops is going, well, it will be in the movie. As we see, we now have a toy of it that bounces and springs, and it interacts by putting this red thing in its mouth, and it makes sounds. But this is supposed to be, if rumors are true, an animatronic, or one of the few animatronics that are, in the franchise at the moment, that have been sort of pseudo-confirmed. Another toy, they're really not even hiding the Velociraptor at this point. Like, oh, fine, cat's out the bag. I'm gonna say this is the male Velociraptor. My prediction is we have a male and a female. The female is the two-headed raptor we see in the vat, and there may be other ones, but this is the male. If we're going Jurassic Park 3 route, and if these exist, the Jurassic Park 3 ones, then this DNA obviously would be in that. How they came. And we also have the other baddie character. We have a vehicle. A nice, I'm not expecting the actual thing, the vehicle in the movie, to shoot nets. But as you can see, this one, the toy, I'm glad they're doing something different, and it's nice to see them do that. Also on the side, it says InGen. And again, we're getting this Parker Ingenics. This InGen, like, is this the founding company? Did InGen, is it just like a section of Parker Ingenics? All that's to be sort of found out in the movie. But this is the big one. We have 3 microplaysets. Now, I don't know if you were a kid. Well, if you were, we were all a kid at one point. But when I was a kid, I had like a Triceratops skull. It was a playset, and you'd hide the bones in different areas. And this seems to be very similar. This is the Mosasaur head. This one, it has the most. But we also have a couple more. We have a T-Rex head with another little playset. And we have the Spinosaur. Again, with another little playset. But all of these pretty much show so much that happens in the movie. So first we'll take a look at the T-Rex head and the Spinosaur head. So we've got some little close-ups here. You can see a waterfall scene. The Spinosaur coming onto land, breaching or attacking something on the land, which is very interesting. But let's go to the Mosasaur, for instance, because as you can quite clearly see, what is being showcased in the toy is what we see in the movie. You've got the ruins there with the eggs. The Quetzalcoatlus there. You move a little bit further down. This is on the T-Rex one. You have a Parasaur, which head sort of moves around. So it's almost, I think this is the river scene, and it's very reminiscent of the para that we have in the Jurassic Park ride. They used to come out and send the tour off course. But weirdly enough, it has a tiny horn. And I always thought there was something odd about that leaked Parasaur that we saw. It looked like the horn had been photoshopped. it had been extended. If I bring up the image, there's something about it just doesn't look right on those images. So that leads me to believe that possibly that's the same parasaur that we see in this one. Maybe it's a juvenile. Again, like birds, the crest would develop over time. So maybe this is a juvenile para, but it looks quite adult. So, but you never know. Maybe we saw some clever Photoshop there. And then, of course, this is back to the mosasaur playset, which is the most spoilers in it. And this is the scene where, of course, the boat gets surrounded by the three Spinos and the mosasaur. And what you can see is the ship sinking. And I think below it, you can see how it sinks. You've got the giant claw marks at the side there. And I think you'd obviously lift up this water bit, and then underneath this ship would connect to it. And I think that we're seeing how they get stranded on the island. The ship gets ripped to bits. And of course, in the same place that we have the Titanosaurus. Is it Titanosaurus? I think it's Titanosaurus. Anyway, whatever. A Dreadnought or whatever. We have a little figure of that. It's very interesting. Again, it's tying it to the movie. Very, very close to the movie. And with the T-Rex one, we have this river scene showing the ankylosaur. First time we're seeing the ankylosaur here. It also in the... in the river scene, you have the T-Rex, which is obviously the river scene that we saw with the Dilophosaur. The sleeping T-Rex gets woken up by the Dilophosaur. And then you have the ankylosaur rainforesty waterfall scene, which was kind of reminiscent of the, oh wow, dinosaurs are amazing. Maybe we'll get a little bit of that with the family, because I'm assuming Scarlett Johansson and her team split off from the family, and the family go down the river, and they eventually reconvene at the end for the climax, which we'll get to in a second. But here we are in this set. In the mosasaur set, we have so much here. We have the lab, or the little chamber that has the two-headed raptor. We have our first ever D-Rex on display right here. And we have a coloring possibly for it. Now, it might not be. It might just be a little bit different. And as well as a helicopter. I mentioned this in my last Jurassic News video, that we still didn't really know where this helicopter had a part to play. But this helicopter is part of the what do you call it, the temple scene with the eggs and stuff, the ruins, because it goes up there, so possibly it's taken down by the Quetzalcoatl, and it hasn't got anything. Oh, Quetzalcoatlus, I know people are going to kill me for mispronouncing it. I just like going Coatl. But I think maybe it's got something to do with that rather than this lab. But if we take a closer look, there's a little bit more here. Can you see a big vault door behind the D-Rex with the same red that we saw? I think we're looking at the D-Rex breaking out scene, possibly. Maybe. I mean, you'd want to have that, right? This is how it gets out. It escapes, possibly. Our villain maybe releases it in order to kill our heroes, and maybe it succeeds with Duncan, and Duncan bites the dust, sacrificing himself nobly and valiantly. Better than that guy from Kong Skull Island, was it? Who just got smacked by the skull crawler and blew up on the mountainside. I just noticed it when I was looking closer. I was like, oh. We also have at the top a broken chamber as well. So possibly that's how a dinosaur escapes. I don't know. But I think we're seeing how it's the D-Rex is kept in a chamber, in a vault in InGen's lab, or in Parker and Jennick's lab. Which is very interesting, because we didn't know exactly how it escapes, how it's been surviving, or whatnot. But this says to me this may not be a flashback scene, and I don't know if it really was a flashback scene. I think it was just one of his team that was maybe, working with him. He betrays him, and then obviously that's how it escapes. And a big shout out to Goji Center, who put in the time, the effort, and the resources to make a D-Rex, which lots of other certain YouTubers have been just shilling. Not shilling, but using in every single video. And fair enough, because it's the only one that exists. As long as proper credit's given, I don't see why not. But they really, really got it almost. The only difference, I think, they just toned down the bulbousness of the beluga head on this thing, and the way the leg is different. But apart from that, their team, they did an absolutely stellar job recreating this beast. So let's get on to my predictions for the ending, because if you remember we always have to have a big climactic battle. It sort of happens since the first one. There's always been some dinosaurs fighting each other, except for the Lost World. That's why it's the GOAT. Did it different. Anyway, so if we look at the toy, the Spinosaur in particular, the Spinosaur head, you have the Spinosaurs coming out of the water. You also have a character running towards the mouth of a Mosasaur. Not too sure what that's about, but there is vines behind him. So maybe this person runs away from the Spinosaurs and then ends up going into the mouth of the Mosasaur when he goes through the vines, and then boom, doesn't realize it runs straight into the mouth of the Mosasaur. Just waiting to like, maybe this is how they work together. The Mosasaur just waits at the end, and the Spinosaurs rally them and corral them into a section and eats them. But I think this is the finale. I think this is a very, very, very telling section on how it's going to end. Because again, this is night. This is the end, I'm assuming, where we see the D-Rex. Everyone comes into contact with it. And I assume it kills Duncan. But we're on a boardwalk here. Or a jetty. Basically a bit on the river, maybe even next to the ocean. It could be, we have lots of docks in the Jurassic franchise. This could be East Dock, South Dock, who knows, whatever. But it looks as if the D-Rex comes here and corners our heroes, our protagonists. Now, if we take a leaf out of the other books, every Jurassic World movie has ended with a massive battle or some sort of climactic ending cliche. So it's a predictable but cool ending. In Jurassic World, we had the best one out of all of them, we can admit. The T-Rex, the Indominus Rex, Blue, and the Mosasaur all teaming up to take down the abomination that was the Indominus Rex. In Fallen Kingdom, not so much. And this is the Indoraptor, the one I predicted, how the Indoraptor died. Blue jumping on the Indoraptor. No, preceding this, you had a lot of fighting with with Owen and Claire, and then Blue was also fighting in Macy's bedroom and all that jazz. And then, of course, in Dominion, we had the most unearned kill in the franchise. A lot of people think it was the babysitter from Jurassic World. What was she called? It was an Azara. So many Z's in the Jurassic franchise. What is going on? There's something in Hollywood that's like, we like Z names. They're cool and edgy. I don't know. I watched another trailer. It was another. Anyway. But, this was where the Giganotosaurus ended up dying unceremoniously to the Therizinosaurus and T-Rex, where it got impaled. So I think we are here, seeing the end of the D-Rex, which will be a climactic fight. Shout out to Gorazilla882.0, who made these, and tagged me on Instagram, where the Spinosaurs take on the D-Rex, or the Spinosaurs and the T-Rex take on the D-Rex. I think that they're very close to how this is going to end. I mean, we've seen... Where is it? Hold on. We've got the Mosasaur, and even looking at the bottom there, you have the Spinosaur on land, showing that they do go onto land. This isn't just a whale breaching scene. This is them coming onto the land, and I think it's very telling that, we got the D-Rex next to the ocean at the end of the movie, and it feels like we're getting the climactic ending. We've had Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, Dominion, all do it. They all end in the climactic final battle. I think this is it. This is going to be the final battle, and it's predictable. It'll be very cool to see, but unfortunately, it'll be dark, which was Dominion's biggest folly there. I mean, that it was in the dark, we didn't get to see. We had, of course, the fight with Fallen Kingdom was in the dark, very hard to see. The world one, not so bad, but again, in the dark. And I think this is how it's going to end. But that's just a theory. But I think with these toys, they're almost confirming exactly, because the Spinosaurs and the Mosasaurs, that could have been it. They may never have resurfaced in the franchise again, or in the movie. That would have been a cool boat scene. But the fact that we're getting these and scenes with them that we haven't seen yet, with them coming onto land, I think it's very predictable that they're going to follow the river down, end up at a dock, and then the D-Rex appears. Duncan, he's wading in water at one point. I think we're going to see these guys come out, and it's going to be a tag team. We're almost doing a renaissance of Jurassic World, where you got the Mosasaur, except for this time with the Spinosaurs taking on the Abomination, D-Rex, or the Mutant, or whatever you're going to call it. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to bring you a quick short video, because I don't know, leave in the comments if you think this is how it's going to end. I think this is, if not all but confirmed, how we're going to end it, because we need to, the bad guy gets eaten by the Mosasaur. dinosaur as well. The D-Rex gets killed by the mosaurs and the spinosaurs. I don't know. It seems very curious that just so happens we have these toys that kind of show things we haven't seen before, and they have the D-Rex, and we've got stuff in the past that we've seen. Anyway, guys, I'll not keep you any longer. It's been long enough, and thank you again for liking and supporting and sticking with me for all these years. Hope you stay just a few more years, maybe. Who knows? Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Oh, bye-bye.